Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me. We're going to dive in just a second. Before we do, please click subscribe to my channel if you don't already. And please take a minute to check out the link you see on your screen for a message from my sponsor, The Motley Fool. It's the best way to support this work we're doing, and you can get the top 10 stocks to buy right now. So there are thousands of stocks listed on the US exchanges, but to really diversify your portfolio, do you need to think internationally? So I do not have a lot of international exposure in my portfolio. That's admittedly an area that I'm lacking. And there are some risks to investing internationally. So I'm talking to a friend of mine who is not only an international stock investor, but he actually lives in an international market. Tyler Crowe. Tyler, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, we're gonna flip the script a little bit. Normally, I'm kind of like the negative person on this show, but we're gonna flip the script because I get to be the positive one this time.
Yeah, and so for me, the risks have always outweighed the benefits, but that's also because I really haven't spent the time to really dig into a lot of international stocks, if I'm being honest, because I have enough to do evaluating all the U.S. companies I follow. There seems to be a lot of risk involved. There's foreign exchange risk, which is kind of the obvious one. If you have foreign exchange fluctuations, your your dividends can change from quarter to quarter. The profits can change in if you're looking in American dollars. There's political headwinds in a lot of markets. A lot of markets have different inflation rates than the U.S. We think 8 or 9% inflation is terrible here. Go to Argentina where it's 90%. So those are just a few examples of the risks of investing in international stocks. And I'm pretty sure you'll agree with me that they're very real. But why do you still have a lot of international exposure in your portfolio, especially relative to mine?
Well, a couple things that really stand out to me in general, and then specific to right now. Just in general, like you said, there are much like in the United States, there are certain pockets of value to be had in the stock market. Sometimes this might be independent of what the market is doing. You're like, oh, I see an opportunity here. This looks really attractive. And, you know, yes, it's on a different exchange, or, they have what are called American depository shares, where basically it's listed on a foreign market, but it has American shares here. Um, Even though that exists, sometimes it can be worth it. And there, I think a lot of the things that we talk about in terms of like political risk, the risks of basically having your money in a foreign exchange, they're not nearly as bad as they used to be. And there's actually a lot of countries out there with very strong governance when it comes to securities. Um, if anybody wants to learn more about it, I would highly recommend go read Aswath Damodaran's writings on it. It's fantastic stuff. But today, one of the reasons I'm most interested a lot in international stocks is because there is a huge disparity in value. If you look at the stock market in the United States right now, it's priced at a pretty good premium, not just like the big mega caps that are trading for high valuations, but also like you kind of just look across the spectrum and there's a lot of expensive stuff. Relative to the European markets, just specifically as an example, they are extremely cheap, and there are a lot of companies doing incredibly good things right now. I was just did a screen of the 10 top 10 performing companies over the past 10 years in terms of total returns, and of the top 10 companies in, I'll call them established markets, most of Europe, a couple South American markets like Mexico, Brazil, and Latin America, Mexico, Brazil, China, Japan, stuff like that. I think it was like two out of the top 10 were actually in the United States. I think one was Celsius Holdings. The rest were like, on the Istanbul exchange. There was a Swedish company, a bunch of Japanese companies. There is huge alpha to be had in the international markets if you want to go look for it.
Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to click subscribe if you don't subscribe to my channel already. And as always, this video is sponsored by The Motley Fool. Be sure to visit www.fool.com/Frankel to receive the top 10 best stocks to buy now.